Now, we all know British people love using slang and all these weird expressions, but what are the most common expressions that you will hear in the UK? Well, let's talk about it. Hey up, mate, and cheers for finding this video today. I appreciate that. Now, if you're new around here, my name is Dan. I'm a British English teacher, and I'm here to help you feel confident when you're communicating in English. Now, today, we're talking all about one of my favourite topics, which is British slang. There's loads of weird words that we love using in conversation, but what are the 10 most common ones that you should learn today that'll help you understand British people? Well, we're going to go through it, so let's jump in. So, we're going to go through, I'm going to tell you what they mean, I'm going to give you the pronunciation, I'm going to give you an example sentence. So, the first word, let's look at this. Oh dear, there's a young lady, and she's yawning. She looks a bit sleepy. She looks a bit tired. Now, a British person would say that she is knackered. Knackered. The K is silent. Knackered. There's two sounds. Knackered. Knackered. And yeah, it means exhausted. It means tired. So if somebody says they're knackered, they mean they're very, very tired. For example, I've been working all day and I'm absolutely knackered. Now, this is something you'll hear all the time in the UK. I think this is probably number one for a reason. You know, incredibly commonly used word in the UK. The next one. Somebody, I mean, I couldn't find a good picture for this one, but it's somebody holding their heart. Hopefully it's not because they're in pain. I think they're trying to show gratitude. They're trying to say thank you, I think is the point. Now, cheers is a British slang way of saying thank you. Now, you probably know cheers as in when you're in the pub with your mates and you all get your beer and you clink your glasses together and you're like, cheers, hooray. And yeah, that is true. We do say that. But we'll also say cheers to mean thank you. For example, cheers for the help, mate. Cheers. We'll also use cheers to say goodbye. All right, mate. See you tomorrow. Cheers. So it's got a few meanings, but cheers as thank you is a really, really common British thing. Now, number 3. Oh dear. This don't look good, does it? This girl's and head in hand. She's just like, disaster. Something's not gone well. And her friend doesn't look pretty happy either. So it don't look like they're having a good time. Now, maybe you know the word disappointed. But a British person probably wouldn't say disappointed. They're quite likely to use the word gutted. 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 Or, like in my accent, we use a glottal stop. So I say gutted. Gutted. And I don't pronounce the T's in the middle. Gutted, gutted, whichever you prefer is fine. And it basically means disappointed, but not just a little bit, usually pretty disappointed. Something bad's happened. For example, I was absolutely gutted when I lost my phone. I just bought a new iPhone a week ago and I lost it already. I am gutted. I'm pretty disappointed about that. Okay. Next one. This is the opposite. She looks pretty happy about something. You know, she's got a big smile on her face. She looks like something's gone well. And in that case, you could say happy or pleased, but a British person might use the word chuffed. 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 It's a t sound at the end, chuffed. You'll often hear the expression chuffed to bits, which means like very pleased. So chuffed means pleased, but chuffed to bits means very pleased. And you can be chuffed for yourself because something good happened to you, or you could be chuffed for somebody else because something nice happened to them. For example, she was chuffed to bits when she got a promotion at work, or my friend told me he's getting married and I was chuffed to bits for him. Use it both ways. Next up. Oh dear, this guy looks a bit strange, doesn't he? Got a big pile of money like he's some kind of gangster in front of him. And you look in his eyes, you don't trust him, do you? He looks a bit untrustworthy. Seems like you can't trust him, like maybe it's a scam. Something's not good here. Well, in that case, a British person might describe him as dodgy. 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 Dodgy is a way of saying untrustworthy. or something's not quite right. You can't trust it for whatever reason. It's suspicious, you know. For example, I wouldn't trust that website, mate. It looks a bit dodgy. Or you can also use it to talk about things like the quality of food in a restaurant. Like, oh, I went to that new pizza place the other day and a bit dodgy. I wouldn't eat there. Pizza's not very good. It's a bit dodgy. Yeah, so dodgy can mean like something's not quite right. You know, something's not quite right here is what you could say. It's a bit dodgy. Okay, cool. Next then. I've got a bunch of people. They're joking around. They're having a laugh. British people love to have a joke and a laugh. But the thing with British people that you need to be aware of is we like to make fun of each other. We like to joke by teasing our friends, by making fun of our friends. It's one of the ways we connect with British people. It's probably going to be a whole topic for another episode. But British people love to make fun of each other. And we make fun of ourselves as well. Now, there's kind of two expressions that mean the same thing. But I'm going to tell you the more used one. And that is taking the piss. Now, be careful. Taking the piss and taking a piss are not the same thing. Taking a piss is where you go to the toilet. Taking the piss is where you make fun of your friends having fun with joking around. You know, maybe your friend's got a big nose and you say, shut up, big nose. Keep your nose out or whatever. You know, we're just joking around. We're having fun. We're making fun of our friends because that's what we do. So taking the piss is what a lot of people will call that. You may hear the more work-friendly version, taking the mickey. Like as in Mickey Mouse, taking the mickey or taking the piss. Yeah, it means we're teasing. We're making fun of our friends. And, you know, there's always one mate that takes it too seriously. And you can say, don't get upset, mate. We're only taking the piss. We're only having a laugh. It's only a bit of banter. Calm down. So yeah, taking the piss. Next, the most used British slang is a random picture of a man that I found on the internet. Now, we've got a word when we're talking about a man of roughly middle age, let's say middle-aged, or they're definitely not a young man. They're more senior, let's say. And we use the word bloke. Bloke. And this just means man, guy. And, you know, if you see the picture, somebody like that, we'll call him a bloke. And yeah, it's just a slang word that means man. And for example, my neighbour is a lovely bloke. He's always smiling. He's a top bloke. Now, related words, for example, for a young bloke, you know, a young guy, probably you would hear the word lad, meaning like a young man, a young lad, and then an older bloke. For girls, like young girls, you would hear the word lass, you know, lad and lass. And then we've got bloke. And then for women, there used to be an expression that was bird. You know, like tweet, tweet, flying bird. But it's a bit old-fashioned. It's a bit offensive nowadays. Depending on where you are in the country, it's still used in certain areas, but probably wouldn't use that one. But yeah, bloke is perfectly fine to talk about men. Next up, one of these things, a brolly, we call it, but it's an umbrella to most people. In the UK, you'll hear people use the word brolly. Now, brolly is an interesting one because even though it rains all the time in the UK, I mean, everybody knows that, we don't actually use umbrellas as much as you might think. For a country it rains all the time, we don't use umbrellas that much. Whereas here in Japan, where I live now, everybody uses an umbrella the second it starts to rain. And I found that a bit weird because I never use umbrellas. In the UK, you're more likely to find people just have waterproof jackets or whatever. So anyway, umbrella is the point, and we'll call it a brolly. For example, don't forget your brolly. It's gonna rain today, which you could say pretty much any day of the year, and it would probably make sense. So, all right, but brolly, okay. Next, we've got a picture of some old money. Actually, they've changed the money since this picture was taken. Well, I've got a £5 note, a couple of £1 coins. There's a 50p piece, a 20p piece, and a penny. Now, British money, you are probably aware that we call it pounds. You know, pounds and pence. We don't use dollars or anything like that. Pounds and pence. However, Like an American will say dollars, but they also say bucks, 20 bucks. For British people, we'll say pound, but we'll also say quid. And quid is the slang word. So quid, which is like a qu sound, quid. Quid is just a slang word for pound, right? So 1 pound is 1 quid. 5 pounds is 5 quid. You'll notice that even though pounds is pluralized, quid never is. So it's 1 quid, 2 quid, 5 quid, 10 quid, 1,000,000 quid, whatever it is. For example, can you lend me 20 quid until Friday? Because I'm a bit poor and I need to borrow 20 quid if you don't mind. And then the next one is a bunch of people giving you a thumbs up. You know, looks nice, so something's gone well, it must be pretty good. And we've got loads of ways to say that something is pretty good in British English. But one that you'll hear quite a lot across the whole country is the word brill. That's brill. Brill. Short from the word brilliant. Brilliant. Brill. Oh, mate, that's brill. For example, I thought the new season of Taskmaster was brill. And now it's over to you. What is your favourite British slang word? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to see what you think. And if you want to take your knowledge of British slang to the next level, you should check out my British Slang Challenge. It's a self-study course that'll teach you over 150 of the most used British expressions. It's got listening practice, it's got speaking exercises, it's got quizzes, it's got workbooks, it's got everything you need to make sure you understand, recognize, and even use some of these expressions. The link is in the description, so check it out. And if you want to know even more about why you should learn British slang, check out this video next.